Did you give me the high sign? Oh, there it is. Excellent. Hello, I'm Lisa. I'd like to call to order the Joint Animal Service Commission meeting for December 4th, 2023. I just introduced myself. I'm from Olympia City Council and I'm the chair. I'm going to go on screen first. Since he's on my left side, Ed, can you introduce yourself?
Ed Kunkel, City of Lacey Council Member.
Peter.
Peter Agadu, City of Tonawanda Council Member.
Excellent. I understand that Gary Edwards, County Commissioner, will not be here tonight, but Sarah, can you go around the table in person, please?
Absolutely. My name is Sarah Hawk. I'm the Executive Director of Joint Animal Services.
Joe McGugan, Feline Friends.
Dr. Vicki Smith, Deschutes Animal Clinic.
Shannon Kelly Fong, City of Lacey.
All righty. First, we'd like to get an approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
You guys can second it in the room.
A
Second.
motion.
Second.
Are there any changes? Is that a hand up?
I was just going to make a note on the first and the second that it's the approval of the agenda, the previous minutes and the consent items.
Oh God, I do this
Yes,
wrong
that's
every
true.
time. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad you did that. So yes, can we amend our motion to include the wording approval of agenda, previous meeting minutes, and consent items?
So moved.
Second.
And
Okay, we're going to first vote on the amendment, or can I go straight to the amended motion? Shannon.
My recommendation would actually be, well, since you've got a first and a second, your operations of approach would be to vote on the amendment and then vote on the amended total in totality.
Yep, I agree.
We'll
with
get
you.
this.
We'll get this on the last meeting of the year. All right, all those in favor of the amendment for the original motion, which is including previous meeting minutes and consent items, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, all those in favor of the amended motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, got it done. I don't know why that trips me up every time, you guys. Is there anybody for public comment?
We don't have anybody online. I don't believe we have anybody on the phone. Do we have any public comment in person? There is no public comment in person, and I have not received any written public comment either.
Excellent. We are going to move right on to the public hearing on the Animal Services 2024 budget. We don't have a presentation, right? First, Sarah?
Do it after.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone here to speak to the Animal Services 2024 budget? I am officially opening the hearing. I'm going to say it 3 times. I don't have a gavel. Anyone here for the public hearing on the 2024 budget for animal services? Anyone here to speak to the Animal Services 2024 budget? Hearing none, I close this hearing and we move on to the Animal Services budget for 2024.
All right, good evening, council members. Tonight before you, you have the 2024 Animal Services proposed budget. Part of the proposed budget that you see before you, we have $3,773,410 designated for programs, operations, and maintenance of Joint Animal Services. $56,130 is for shelter depreciation, for a total of $3,829,540 overall animal services budget for 2024. This is an increase of $376,890,000 or 10.9% over last year's budget. Some budget assumptions that we did use to create this budget. There was, of course, a field rebate due to limitations in expanding the field department. We also took into consideration strategic priorities such as the space needs assessment, governance structure study, increased in-house medical treatment from 14 to 20, and increased in-house spinator surgeries from 20 to 25. 4.5% cost of living, as well as steps in salary increase. Continued salary adjustments after the salary survey findings at the end of 2022. And as well as the use of restricted medical reserves for medical staff to offset that increase in budget, allowing minimal impact to the jurisdictions for 2024, as well as the capital improvements of replacement of the adoption kennels that has been rolled over as a capital project from 2023. So overall, 23% of the budget goes to general services. This includes professional consultants, contract software, data management, computers, maintenance, and administrative costs. 54% go to shelter operations. This is the cost of daily care that is needed to ensure the health and safety of every single animal that enters the shelter, either from the field or stray or owner surrendered. This includes all medical and food and spay-neuter, etc. So 19% of the budget goes to field operations, which is our humane law enforcement department. 3% is restricted grants, as well as 0% of the cost to run our licensing program. The jurisdictional assessments for 2024 are as follows: $942,758 for Thurston County, being that they are 50.1% of the per capita breakdown for the assessment. Olympia sits at $356,174. Lacey sits at $380,030, and Tumwater sits at $172,956 for an overall assessment. Oh, I skipped ahead, apologies. Let me stop sharing real quick. And so I am asking the Joint Animal Services Commission to approve the 2024 Animal Services budget.
Before I have any, call for a motion, is there any questions? Can you say one more time the increase from last year?
Yeah, hold on one moment. So the total budget is $3,829,540. This is an increase of $376,890 or 10.9% overall increase.
Excellent. Ed, you came off mute. Did you have a question?
No, I was just going to move that we approve the 2024 budget for Joint Animal Services.
Okay, Peter, because this is fiscal, it has to be the jurisdictions. So Peter.
So actually, I do have a question, Sarah. So the increase, do you have
just not to interrupt Peter, but I think the proper motion is to second it and then open for questions, if I'm correct. Okay,
You are
Sarah's
correct.
shaking her head and I'm
okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I made a motion to approve the 2024 budget. We'll need a second.
In that case, I second that.
And now you can ask questions.
So Sarah, the increase is, where does the increase come from? In what particular category do we have the increase?
It is an overall increase for most of the different areas, with the majority of it being in shelter operations. That includes increase in staffing as well as increase in overall costs for operations with inflation. So we've had an increase in supplies, such as vaccines, food, all the surgical equipment. All of that is a part of the overall increase, as well. Capital too would be the other additional cost. But most of the capital improvement projects have been coming from reserves. But that 10% is really based on step increases, expanded care. We've are estimating more animals coming into the facility next year because we've seen a steady increase of about 20% of intake over last year. So we have projected an increase in costs of care as well.
Yeah, increase
So in
of costs are pretty common. I would have been shocked if we didn't have to raise the budget.
Yeah. And especially with all
so
those.
in essence, the increase is in our operational costs.
Yes, a majority of it is an increase in operational costs.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It's a good question, Peter. Is there any more questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the presented 2024 budget for animal services, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we're moving on to the meeting schedule, which I saw in your presentation.
Yep, hold on one sec. This won't take very long, but I do want to make sure we go over. There we go. Okay. So as we discussed during the last meeting, I believe, we talked about how the first Mondays of the month were actually pretty hard operationally for us to do JASCOM meetings for the staff and to get reports in and everything. So JASCOM agreed that the second or third Monday of the month was the most reasonable. So I did opt for the second Monday of the month because it seemed, for the most part, to miss most of the major holidays that fall on a Monday, with the exception in November. It does happen to fall on Veterans Day in 2024. So that one is bumped to the third Monday in November. But otherwise, we actually have a pretty clean schedule with no adjustments for holidays or voting, different things like that. So this should be a pretty good schedule for everybody, and it gives us more time to actually get our statistics and everything together for the commissioners.
Any questions? Okay. Is the second Monday enough time for the staff, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be just me because we're closed on Mondays and the majority of the staff do not work on Mondays. So as long as the meetings are being held on Mondays, it will just be me most of the time, unless there's something important that we want the staff to present to the commission.
Excellent. Can I request, when the jurisdictions select their representative, that we get a calendar invite out?
Of course.
For Olympia, it will be the second weekend after the second full week of January is when we'll be selecting.
And that is why historically we've stopped having a January meeting, to allow for appointments to take place in January. And that way we know who will be attending in February.
Excellent. Okay. If there's no other questions, we're going to move on to director's report.
So I have just a couple of updates for you guys today. One of which is I'm really excited to talk and brag about my staff a little bit. So my positive outcomes coordinator, Becca, has created and implemented, and we're now in the testing phase of our new day foster program. And so our new veterinarian, Dr. Swearingen, pre-tested this for us, went through the whole checkout process. And then the next launch is going to be for volunteers that we already work with, so we can get a feel for what the ins and outs are, what the quirks are, if there's anything we need to improve on in the system. But the goal is that we will select dogs that are in need of a little bit of time out of the shelter to participate in our day foster program. And so the end result, once we've test run and launched this in phases, would be that a member of the public could come in, fill out the liability form, the quick day foster program application form, and then they're given some rules and instructions on what they can do, and they can take these pups who maybe need a break out into the community to do activities such as get a pup cup at a coffee shop, or perhaps they want to come back to their house to do some Netflix and chill, go on a hike, or even visit a pet-friendly restaurant. And so apart from benefiting the pups, our day foster partners will receive physical and mental benefits of having an animal companion. And there's even a chance that these dogs may meet their future adopter while they are out and about on the town. So we're very excited. Like I said, we'll be launching.
I love this, Sarah. This is wonderful. This is a great idea.
It's very exciting. And
yeah.
We're even working with the City of Lacey's Wellness Committee is working with Becca on ways that they can encourage City of Lacey employees to come grab a pup maybe on their lunch or something like that and hang out as a nice wellness break.
I love it.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
Ed's right.
I might do this.
We would love for you to come do this, Ed.
Yeah, I absolutely love dogs. I have a soft spot for dogs specifically. My worst fear is that if I owned a dog, I would neglect it for the schedule that I keep. So that's what keeps me from owning a dog. But I think I would be inclined to do something like this. This is really sweet. Excuse me.
Get your dog fix.
What's that? Yeah, I get my dog fix, exactly. Yeah.
How'd you get that picture of that puppy? That is adorable.
That is pretty cute.
That's really cute.
That was one of our fosters last year that just would take their foster dog out and about. Isn't it cute? And so I shared that just as a perfect example of some activities that these day foster dogs could be experiencing. And so Becca reached out to a number of different shelters who already have this foster program in place. And the really great thing about animal welfare is that everybody is willing to share everything, right? And so we had multiple shelters give us all their protocols, give us their liability waivers, give us everything that they had already put into place. And that really helped Becca get a feel for what we wanted to create for our program. And then it made it really easy working with like our liability insurance to figure out what's needed and what's not needed in order to do this. So it's really great. She deserves a huge pat on the back. It was a lot of work to roll out. She's not even been in this role for a year and she's already rolled out a new program. So
wow. This is great.
So stay tuned when we launch to the public. But in the meantime, we're test driving this with current volunteers to make sure we work out all the kinks before we go public. And then moving on, just a reminder, Santa Paws is coming this weekend. If you have not already signed up to have your pet have their pictures taken with Santa. It's just $20. You get 5 digital photos and the spots fill up extremely quickly. This year we're doing reservations online, which makes it a lot easier instead of people trying to call into the shelter to book an appointment. So we're very excited to have this back. It's hugely popular and sells out every year.
Where is that held?
Oh, what was that?
Where is that held?
Oh, it's held at the shelter. So it's really, really cool. We have this amazing volunteer who transforms our conference room into this. Like, it's magic. Like, she designs it, she sets everything up, and every year it's completely different and it's so magical. So I can't wait to see what she's designing this year for it. a whole new conference room. You'd never even know. And then lastly is our happy tale. So we got this message from the couple that adopted this beloved, I forgot to put his name up here, Wallace. So sorry, I forgot to put Wallace's name up here. So this couple just moved this year from Alaska and came by to window shop and look at the kitties. And of course, fell in love with Wallace here, who's 8 years old, and has already had to have all of his teeth removed. And so he's just a very, very sweet boy who sleeps, and they are absolutely in love with him, and they sent us this update.
I love your happy tales. Okay.
That's all I have for you guys today.
That's excellent. Well, Ed, thank you for this year and being on the commission. We will miss you because you're an animal lover. That's super important. You can't underrate that and what you said about dogs. Thank you. And thanks for your hard work for us. Okay.
My pleasure. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you, Lisa, Peter, everybody, Sarah, Shannon. It's been an honor, and it's been an interesting 4 years, but I've learned a lot about the city of Lacey and learned a lot about how hard the staff works to make it happen. And I just have a newfound respect for so many people from my experience. And politics, I'm done with politics for a while, and I'm going to find other ways to be a benefit to this community. And it's all well and good. I'm just turning a new chapter, and no regrets. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you again for this year. Appreciate your hard work.
Yep.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Peter. Blessings to you, my friend.
So, does it mean we
Yeah, we're gonna
you up this for Christmas present?
What do you want for Christmas, Peter?
Yeah.
Just coffee.
Oh man, after my own heart.
Yeah.
There's coffee and then there's other things that you put in your body.
I'm hoping for a new motorcycle, but it's a pretty tall order. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you guys.
Add a new animal shelter to your list, Ed.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. That would be great. I would love to see that come to fruition.
Okay. You guys have a nice holidays and happy New Year's if I don't see you. And maybe I'll see you next year. We'll see what Olympia says.
Fantastic.
Happy holiday, everyone.
Be
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. God bless.
Merry Christmas, Ed. Bye-bye.